Here with Fox NFL host Curt Menefee. Curt, in town, meeting some people with the Packers. What's been your experience?
You know, this is always one of my favorite places to come. Just the atmosphere here. Obviously, this time of year, it's a little bit warmer, normally a little bit warmer than it is in January, but just the atmosphere here in Green Bay is special, the fans, the crowd. And this is, I think, one of the better run organizations in all of football, so I always enjoy coming to Green Bay.
So from the national perspective, what's the story of the Packers going to be going into this season?
You know, I think that people are looking at it, one of the things I'm looking to see is this is one of the older teams they've had, yet they're still one of the younger teams in the league. They're usually very, very young, and it's time to see how that maturity works out. I think as long as they stay healthy, you know, they're right there among the top teams. You look at Seattle, San Francisco, Green Bay, obviously you would include in that, and then New Orleans. I think those are probably four of the top teams in all the NFL, and they're all in the same conference. So I think that's going to make it interesting as well. And it may come down to who has home field advantage to determine who winds up being the NFC representative this year.
When you're in the Fox NFL studios and Aaron Rodgers does something that we all know he can do, what's the reaction from all those former players and professionals you have in studio?
Well, I tell you, people find it hard to believe. We watch every play of every game. We have this giant wall where we can see everything that's going on. And we all sit there on the set and watch the games just like people at home. And as soon as something happens, it's like, hey, did you see that? Yeah, I saw it. Or it's amazing how you learn to watch like 9 games at once. But everybody on the set, I think, you know, they like what the Packer organization does. They like what it represents and the way they handle things. But I think everybody's a fan of Aaron Rodgers because he's one of the best players in the league. I mean, how can you not be? He carries himself the right way off the field. He represents the organization and the National Football League in the right way. And he's just a heck of a guy to watch. You see him do things on the field that not a lot of quarterbacks, I don't care how special they are, can do.
Seattle and San Francisco seem to be the two that a lot of people are putting towards the top in projections for the season. Do you think Green Bay can compete with those guys in the NFC?
Yeah, I have them right there. I go back to Seattle, San Francisco, Green Bay, New Orleans, and maybe even Philadelphia. But I think those are the teams that are the best teams in the NFC, and they kind of separated themselves from everyone else. And, you know, the AFC I don't think is nearly as deep as the NFC is, and so that becomes the challenge. You get a division like the NFC North, and Chicago is a good team. We'll find out what Detroit and Minnesota can do with new coaching staffs there. And so you may have to battle and battle and battle through the regular season just to wind up with a good enough record to have a great seed to get in the playoffs, because the NFC is so deep that I think it's going to be hard for somebody to come at 5th or 6th seed and be on the road all the time. Yet at the same time, the talent's so good, you can see it happening. You wouldn't be shocked if that happened in the NFC. So I think that Green Bay is one of the top teams in the conference, but I think the conference is also very deep.
Couple more Sundays of freedom for you?
Well, you know, the Sundays of freedom are kind of disappearing. I think this Sunday we've got a preseason game in Charlotte, and then next Sunday we've got a preseason game in San Francisco. Then it's Labor Day Sunday, then it's football till February.
'Tis the season, right?
It is. We wouldn't have it any other way.
Curt, I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you, Justin.